Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 21 Minutes or Less podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Keisha Milana.
And I am your other host, Nakia Smith.
And today we are talking all about self love. So, as you all know, it's Valentine's Day. And that's the day where we often talk about love and showing love to our people who we care about in our lives. But for people who might not have a significant other or someone they're romantically seeing, I feel like self love is really appropriate, especially on a day like today, where you're surrounded by so many people loving on others. So, before we get too deep into things, I just want to start by giving a quick definition of self love. So, self love is regard for one's own well being and happiness. And so, this is really important to understand because it's pretty much thinking about how you can improve your own wellness, improve your own happiness. And a lot of people might get it confused with self care, but self care is the practice of taking an active role in protecting your own well being and happiness. So, the biggest difference I feel like between the two is self love is more of like about thoughts and feelings, whereas self care is more about action and things that you do to care for yourself. So, Nikia, how do you feel about the differences between self love and self care? What do you think they are?
I totally agree with what you said. Like you said, self love is it's kind of like a feeling, but
Mhm,
people try to say that love is an action,
mhm,
but that's how you show that love to yourself by taking care of yourself through those self care practices, as you stated. So I totally agree with your definitions, and I also wanted to give another definition of self love from an article by Passion Planner.
mhm,
So it says self love is understanding that no one knows me like I know me. I am the only person on this earth who can know the full beauty and depth of my spirit. And it goes on to say that self love is a commitment to expand, explore, protect, honor that knowledge so that I may give me to the world. So it's kind of like you fully accepting yourself, loving you fully enough to where you can now give that same love that you give yourself back to the world. Because
mhm.
how can you love anything else if you don't love yourself first? So it's kind of like we gotta get in tune with us and who we are and accept ourselves so we can know how to give that love back to others.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I feel like if you don't love yourself, it's just gonna be more challenging to love other people or to love, things
Hmm.
that you're doing in the world. And going back to just talking about the biggest differences between self-love and self-care, I think it's important to also highlight that self-love is not a prerequisite to self-care. So that just
Hmm.
means that we can care for ourselves even if we don't love ourselves. So we all have those periods where we might feel like, I'm not the biggest on self love right now, or I'm not fully loving myself. But that doesn't mean that we should stop caring for ourselves. And it's going to be more challenging to engage in self care if we don't have that self love, but it's not impossible. So I think that's super important to think about because a lot of times people think, oh, you need to love yourself before you can do self care. But sometimes you might do those activities and start to engage in that self care. And then
Hmm.
that's going to bring you to loving yourself more because you start to fall in love with doing those activities and thinking about yourself and being able to practice those habits that it eventually leads you to feeling like, wow, I actually do love myself. And I'm showing myself that I love myself by engaging in this self care on a continual basis.
Yes, I love that. And in the article, it also goes on to say that, but really, what is love? It's
Hmm.
the vulnerable, critical act of revealing our most genuine selves. It reminds us that we are worthy of being seen, despite all the noise that tells us otherwise. So going back to what you were saying about not waiting to fully love yourself in order to practice that self-care,
Hmm.
and being able to be vulnerable not only with yourself but with other people, to say, hey, I have a few insecurities, or hey, I'm not really feeling really loving right now. Just being open and honest with people and yourself, because you don't want to lie to yourself. Because
Yeah.
lying turns into denial, turns into delusion, and then when you are putting yourself in that, it's kind of like, okay, so what's the truth at this point? Because now I can't even be real with myself. So again, like, how can I be real with others? And it takes you being vulnerable. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. And it's not because they don't want to do it. It's just they weren't maybe given the tools as a child, from their parents or from people who, they grew up around, to be able to be vulnerable. So they may not know how to do that. So that's why it's like very important as you get older to understand what your shortcomings are, so you can acknowledge them and deal with them, so you can, be a positive light in this world. you know so yeah.
Yes. I love that you mentioned vulnerability. I feel like that's really a part of self love, being vulnerable with yourself so that you can understand like what's your challenges, what's your strengths, and be able
Hmm.
to, act accordingly to be able to strengthen those challenges that you face, especially if it's regarding doing things that involve self care and figuring out, okay, what's working with my self care routine, what's not working so well. You got to be really vulnerable to be honest with yourself and think about those things. And I feel like self love, it really means like accepting yourself fully, and accepting
Hmm.
yourself comes with that vulnerability. It comes with being real with yourself, honest with yourself, genuine with yourself, authentic, to be able to say, like, okay, this is something that I'm not fully engulfed in with my self care routine. And I want to start doing more of it to show myself how much I love myself. I feel like self care also means that we are treating ourselves with kindness and respect.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's so easy to be kind to other people, but when it comes to ourselves, we are so hard on ourselves. And that's something that, when you start to change that inner voice inside of you, that self love starts to grow because you like, wow, I don't want to treat myself mean. I don't want to tell myself I suck or I'm not good at this. I just want to find ways to get better. And respecting yourself, that can take so many different forms. Respecting yourself can be about how do you present yourself. It can be about, what do you tolerate and what do you not tolerate, setting boundaries. So I feel like it all goes into self love. And then another thing is nurturing growth and well being. So we talk about wellness all the time on our podcast, but nurturing growth is something that's so important to make sure that we not getting stagnant. And I feel like if you love yourself, you're gonna always find ways to grow, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial. And that's the part of self love because you don't want to just stay in a position that you're in. You want to strive for something more. You want to strive for something better. And I feel like that's a huge thing that, a lot of people are currently working on, thinking about how do I want to grow my business? How do I want to grow and get my body better to where I'm more comfortable and more happy and I'm able to look in the mirror and really enjoy what I see. So I feel like it's a journey and it's a process and it's always going. Like you can love yourself today, but then in 2 weeks, you don't love yourself anymore for a month. But then you get back to loving yourself. So it's about just continually thinking about how can I keep this habit of experiencing self love and experiencing myself in a way that I feel comfortable with.
Yes, I love that. And I wanted to segue into some steps that you can take to achieve total self love. And this was written by Stephen O'Brien from the Healthline article.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to go through the steps, and then Keisha, maybe we can pick out maybe one or two that speak to us and then
Yeah.
expand on those steps. So, number one is stop comparing yourself to others. Two, don't worry about others' opinions.
Mm.
Three, allow yourself to make mistakes. Four, remember your value doesn't lie in how your body looks. Five, don't be afraid to let go of toxic people. Six, process your fears. Seven, trust yourself to make good decisions for yourself. Eight, take every opportunity life presents or create your own. Nine, put yourself first. 10, feel pain and joy as you fully can. 11, exercise boldness in public. 2, see beauty in the simple things. Did I say two? 12.
Well,
See, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
right.
12, see beauty in the simple things. And 13, be kind to yourself. So I'm gonna let you go first. Go ahead and maybe choose which you know
A few of them.
which you
Yeah.
feel.
Are really speaking to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. They are really, it's some that's just, they want to jump out and slap me. Okay, so the first one that I'm really feeling is don't worry about others' opinions, because I feel like that's something that I do a lot. And I feel like I've talked about it on the podcast before, just about how like I be having anxiety about posting on Instagram or like posting on social media a lot of times. And
Mhm,
it's mainly because I'm always worried about how am I going to be perceived, or
mhm,
thinking about like, oh, what if I don't get any engagement? But that's something that I'm personally working on towards getting better with my own self-love, to where I'm like, I don't care who like it, who don't like it. It's my brand, it's my life, it's my social media. So I gotta do what makes me happy. So that's something I recently did today. I posted some cute little Valentine's pictures, but I'm just trying to do that more often, to where it's like it don't
mhm,
have to be a holiday. It's just a day where I feel like posting and talking about something and like showing my face on camera. So I feel like don't worry about others' opinions is something that I can definitely work on. um, don't be afraid to let go of toxic people. That's another one I'm working on, because I'm such like a lover girl, and like I'm so understanding, and it's probably because I'm about to be a psychologist, and like I have experience being a therapist. So being in the wellness field, I feel like I'm always understanding people's issues, to where I'm like, okay, this person is toxic, but at the same time, like I want to be there for them. I want to help them get not toxic no more. I want to show
mhm,
them that they're toxic and like work through it with them. But I need to make sure that I'm not avoiding my own self love by holding on to them. And it could be anybody, family, friends, romantic. I just want to get better with letting go of toxic people. I think I've been doing a little bit better, but I probably could still do a little bit better. And then the last one I would say that really stands out to me is take every opportunity that life presents or create your own. I feel like
mhm,
this is something that I really excel at. And people tell me all the time, like, you are so resourceful. And that's one thing I'm always thinking about. What's the next thing? What's the next opportunity? I'm always going for stuff. I'll be applying for scholarships, applying for fellowships, applying for speaking engagements, applying for trips, service trips. Like, people be like, you need to sit down. But I feel like I'm gonna take every opportunity I can, because I say I want to travel. Why not do this service and travel for free? And just being able to understand when the opportunity
mhm.
is good for you, I feel like that's something that I have pretty much mastered. And I just want to get better with creating my own opportunities for life when they don't present themselves.
Yes, I love those. So I'll start with stop comparing yourself to others.
Mm,
So yes, I have never been the person to like compare because I just feel like I have always been different. Like I never felt like fit in any type of mold. I just made a post the other day that I revealed that when I was younger, I was so different from people in my family that I literally would like go and see if I had any adoption papers to see if I was adopted.
Yes, girl.
I know that's funny, right? But you know, when you're a child, you don't know how to process your uniqueness, and you just like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like stop comparing yourself to others, especially around like holidays like Valentine's Day, because you'll see people on social media posting about their relationships, posting about their family, the things they received, and things like that, and they can make you like internalize some insecurities or you know why am I not receiving love like everybody else is receiving love on this day or things like that. Luckily, I'm not that type of person to do that because again, I love myself. I have a supporting and loving family and then other things as well. But some people are not as strong.
Right.
Some people don't have that confidence to know that hey, my life doesn't have to reflect what other people's life look like. I can
Mhm.
create my own life. I can have my own standards. I can have my own values. I can have my own boundaries, and it can be unique to me, and I still be okay. And people still like me and love me. And even if they don't, I still like and love myself.
Period. Love. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Yes, I like that. Did you have another one, or was
Yes.
that the main one?
And the other one is allow yourself to make mistakes. And I say that because I have a type A personality. I know that for sure. And then perfectionism is another thing. Like, so it's I guess like showing yourself compassion
Mhm.
and letting yourself know that hey, it's okay to make mistakes. Learn from those mistakes and keep it moving. And just build on that. And don't allow you to want to be perfect, not allow you to start something. Because I will always want to have all my ducks in a row before I did something, or I wanted to make sure every dot was there and everything. And then it was like, but what's the point?
Mhm.
And how do you know what you need to fix unless you start?
Right.
Like an
Yes.
example is speaking, like public speaking. I'm a very reserved, quiet. This was not my like first choice of something to do is
Mhm.
to start a podcast or be on a podcast and be a speaker. I love to write. That's how I express myself. But allowing myself to be on a platform and grow and y'all get to see like all the mistakes I'm making when it comes to like reading, grammar, enunciating or and pronouncing words. Like you get to see that over time. And then, as we continue to grow as a podcast and as we like build our skills, you can see from the first episode to like the now episode and then future episodes the growth and see that hey, yeah, it was a little janky in the first in the first beginning, but they're getting better, and we want to continue to get better because that's what life is all about: evolving and getting better. And I say the last one would be see beauty in the simple things.
Yes, I like that one.
So it's kind of like just waking up in the morning and just being thankful
Mhm.
that you woke up. Being thankful that you have a family, being thankful that, hey, I'm here. I have another day to make a difference. I'm beautiful. Look in the mirror, look at your body, look at yourself, find something that you like. And if you don't like it, find some activities to help you improve in areas that you don't like. See
Mhm.
the beauty in the simple things. Everything doesn't have to be grand. When it comes to being in a relationship and you see all these grand gestures that everybody is doing, it's okay if you just got a card. It is okay if you just got flowers. It's okay if you just got a text message. It is okay because some people didn't get nothing. So be happy and grateful for the things that you have. That goes back to gratitude and it goes back to just appreciating life because the most simple things are the most beautiful things. And everything doesn't have to be this cookie cutter, picture perfect type of situation.
Yes, I'm so glad you talked about that one because I really like that one too. And for me, I just thought about little things that I do, like taking pictures of flowers. And like
Hmm.
for me, that's seeing the beauty in the simple things. And like you said, it's just about gratitude. And it helped me to remember, like, God created this plant. This is a living thing.
Yes.
Even though most people just see a flower and like think it's the inanimate object, like no, this thing grows. And it's just seeing stuff like that that makes me even more thankful for like you said, just being on earth. And then I like that you talked about perfectionism too, because I was going to talk about the 5 foundations of self-love, and one of them is self-acceptance. And I feel like that plays into making sure that we avoid perfectionism, because we have to accept ourselves as we are. And nobody on this earth is perfect. So with self-acceptance, that just means being able to think about, okay, how am I as I currently am? And am I okay with it? And then
Hmm.
another foundation is mental health. So learning coping skills and stress management, because if you don't, it's always gonna be something to stress about. Like we was just talking about how adulting is just constantly doing stuff every single day, always having something on your to-do list, whether it's big or small. So if you are in this body not knowing how to cope with stress, it's just gonna be even harder to love yourself, because now you got so much, you know, more things to think about besides self love, and you're not even making time for it. Another foundation is self care, which means just spending time doing hobbies and engaging your own interests. And I feel like that's so important. We talk about self care, of course, because we're a self care podcast, but really making sure that you understand what are your own interests before you can even engage in them. So that's something about just taking time for yourself and exploring, which plays into another one of the foundations, self discovery.
Hmm.
Self-discovery is just learning, what do you like, what are you interested in, what makes you happy, what goals do you want to accomplish. And I feel like that self-discovery and self-exploration phase is how you really start to find true self-love. Because if you don't know what you like, you don't know what you're interested in, you don't know what your goals are, you don't know what you want to do with your life, how you gonna love yourself when you just walking around so confused every day? And then the last foundation is your inner voice. And it's pretty much just about changing the way that you talk to yourself and talk about yourself to make it more positive. And again, you don't always have to give yourself praise, but just having that self acceptance to understand that things you might not be excelling in today, you can just work on them and practice and improve and learn what didn't go as well as you thought it would, and then update it, change it, come back to it with a better mindset. And that's listening to your inner voice about how you can just be a better person, or how you can do certain activities or certain tasks better. So I feel like those foundations of self-love can just give you a starting point of how can you get to true self-love. And just to repeat them back, they are self-discovery, your inner voice, self-care, mental health, and self-acceptance.
Yes, I love that. And I guess that's a good segue to even giving you some affirmations that you can say to yourself when you need to practice some of that self love. So I'm going to start with I am enough. I allow myself to receive love. I am kind to myself. I accept all aspects of my being. My path is unique to me.
Mm, those are good. Can you say them again for the people in the back?
Sure. I am enough. I allow myself to receive love. I am kind to myself. I accept all aspects of my being. My path is unique to me.
I really like the I am kind to myself. That one is speaking to me because, like I was saying earlier, we do not be kind to ourselves like we be kind to other people. So that's something I know
Mhm.
I personally want to work on, being as kind to myself as I can, as I am to other people. Well, as I think I am. I probably could be nice to other people. But
Yes.
yeah, that one was really speaking to me.
And I like that you said that because especially as women, like our nature is to nurture others and to care for others. And then we try to do so much for other people. And it's like if you just give an ounce of that back to yourself, you could be like 1% better.
Mhm.
And then that 1% better can give you the sources and the energy that you need to be able to pour it back into other people. So just something to think about.
Yes. And the last thing we want to talk about with self love is just giving you some examples of things that you can do to help improve your self love. So, the first thing is protecting your peace. So, this can mean saying no to things that don't speak to your soul or not even over explaining yourself. Another thing is doing things that feel liberating. So this could be masturbating and pleasing yourself sexually, or it could be wearing what you want to wear without thinking about how other people might judge you or perceive you. Another thing is doing what makes you happy. So this could be avoiding conflict with people who are part of your support system, doing things that align with your core values, or even speaking up for yourself and advocating for yourself. Like that's something that should make you happy and something that can show I love myself and I'm not going to allow you to treat me at any kind of way or talk to me any kind of way because I don't even talk to myself like that. Another thing is documenting your journey. So I think continual reflection is a great way to measure where you are with self love. Because when you document your journey, it could be a journal, it could be doing vlogs, doing videos, but it's gonna show you where you are mentally, and you're gonna start to remember what self love looked like during that period of time. So if it wasn't so great, you can remember that. And you can think about when times was hard, and if it's great, that could be an inspiration like, hey, I need to get back there. Also, protecting your temple, your body. So that means eating healthy, moving your body, taking your medications, all that stuff is self love and ensuring that your finances are in order. So this could be things like investing in your future or just saving your money. You know, that's a good starting point to show yourself like, I love me so much. I'm thinking about my future needs right now. So I'm going to save. I'm going to invest my money. I'm going to make my money grow. I'm going to make sure I don't spend frivolously. Also, speaking positive to yourself, and this is both internally and externally. So, again, we gave you some affirmations earlier, but try creating your own affirmations. Put it on a post note, put it on your mirror, put one on the car dashboard. You need to continually see these affirmations so that you can really start to believe them. Because if you just saying them, that's cool. But to actually believe them and really think about yourself in the way that the affirmations are telling you to, that's powerful.
Yes. And that leads us to our self care challenge that is coming up in March. It will start on March the 1st and it will be for 21 days and it will end on March 21st. And we are inviting you all to come and hang out with us as we do the self care challenge together and hold each other accountable.
Mhm. Definitely. I'm so excited. We are getting everything ready for y'all. Last year we had a good turnout. We got over 100 people in our Facebook group, and this year is going to be even better. We got some guest speakers for y'all. Everybody who joins is going to get a self-care journal. You're going to get access to having an accountability partner that you can talk to throughout the entire journey of the challenge. You get the exclusive Facebook group access, and you get daily reminders about self care tasks that you can do to be able to implement self care into your routine. Because we don't want you to just do the challenge and then go back to doing self care sporadically. We want it to become a habit, which is why we're doing 21 days. Because if you're doing small stuff every day, it's going to start to become a habit, it's going to start to be
Mhm.
built into your routine. And then you also will get an exclusive invitation to our coaching. So me and Nakia have coaching packages where we helping you with self-care improvement, we help you with wellness, helping you with entrepreneurship. So that's gonna be really exciting. And you get all of this for only $1 a day. So it's only $21 for the whole entire challenge. And you get so much good stuff. You get to connect with us. We're gonna be going live. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yes. And we actually participate in the challenge.
Mhm.
So we will be posting in there just like you are talking about our daily activities and our self-care routines. So you're not just in there amongst each other. We actually participate in the challenge as well.
Yes. So again, it's starting in like literally 2 weeks, and it starts on March 1st. It's a Wednesday. So don't think it's a Monday or a Sunday. It starts in the middle of the week, and it's gonna be super exciting. So definitely don't hesitate to sign up.
Yes. Which is fitting because Wellness Wednesday.
Yes. Wellness Wednesday. We starting self-care challenge on Wellness Wednesday. Period. But
Absolutely.
thank Yes, but thank y'all so much for listening to the 21 Minutes or Less podcast. I hope y'all have a great Valentine's Day. Love on y'all selves. Take care of y'all mental health. Stop listening to the inner critic. And make sure y'all go follow us on social media. So y'all can follow our page at 21 Minutes or Less. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can type 21 Minutes or Less podcast and YouTube and listen to full episodes there. And then you can also follow our personal pages. Mine is at Keisha Milana,
And mine is at Miss Butterfly 21 MISS.
and we're going to see y'all on the next episode, and we're going to see y'all at the challenge starting March 1st.
Yes.
See y'all.